video on this car go viral. I really wasn't expecting that, but there's a lot of questions about it, so I figured I'd answer some. So, first question was, what does this small syringe do? Well, this one actually shuts the engine off. There's a vacuum shutoff valve on the injection pump, and when you pull vacuum on this, it shuts a plunger and shuts fuel off to the engine. So that's how you kill the engine. Because the key, if you look up here, we're still running. This was originally a gas car, so it doesn't have the vacuum key switch that the diesels had, so it doesn't do anything other than turn the alternator on and run the starter, basically. Alright, second question, how do you put it in park? So, selecting forward, back, park has nothing to do with this. This is only selecting which gear you're in when you're moving forward, so the old column still works for selecting actual gears. Alright. Get out on the road here. A lot of people said I should build some kind of an Arduino thing with some electronics and some solenoids and some gadgets, and listen, this car has zero electronics. Again, you can take the key out and drive it. I don't want to add electronics to it. When this is, there's nothing, look, there's nothing wrong with this. It works perfect. Great system, really. A couple people asked what this little valve's for. That's so that if you want to change the height of the shifter, you can open that and it just vents the system. There's not really a set amount that you pull it. You just kind of feel for it. You can feel when it starts to get tension on it, you go just a little bit past that, and then it shifts. It does take a little bit of practice to get used to it, but when you're used to it, it's just as easy as shifting a manual transmission. Which is another question I got. Where's the clutch? There is none. It's an automatic. It still kind of works like an automatic. It's just that you can shift it manually. Should explain the vacuum system on this car a little bit. So, again, this was a gas car, and it's got a diesel from some sort of 70s. I thought it was a 77. A few comments that I got on that Instagram video kind of made me question that. So I'm not sure now. It might be earlier 70s. Anyway, it's a diesel engine. They had a vacuum pump because diesels don't generate vacuum inherently like gas engines do. So the vacuum system is like basically a standalone system on this car. It only runs the drivetrain. It doesn't do anything else in the car. What happened was the VCV, or the vacuum control valve, is what takes the vacuum pump, full vacuum, and modifies it and sends a signal to the transmission. Not a voltage signal, an actual vacuum signal. It changes the amount of vacuum. There's a diaphragm on the transmission that pulls a plunger in and out. And that's basically how it works. So what would happen is, as the injection pump revved up, it would turn an adjuster. I'm simplifying it, but it would turn an adjuster and change the amount of vacuum that was allowed to go to the transmission. More vacuum makes it shift early. Less vacuum makes it shift late. So it would use that adjustment and decide when the transmission was going to shift. If you're really in it and you're right to the floor and you're trying to pass somebody, it would shift later. If you're barely on it, it would shift sooner. Well, that VCV valve failed, which leads me to another thing. A lot of people said, hey, you can still buy these parts, they're still available. They probably are somewhere, but I'm in Eastern Canada. They're not available here, and to ship them here and wait a month, and I still can't find a new one anywhere, so I'm buying used. I don't know if it's going to work. All of that versus I put this together for 18 bucks in the parking lot where I work on my lunch break. So, to me, this is way better than all the other waiting around and spending a bunch of money and not knowing if it's going to work, testing it. Then you have to calibrate it. This, you calibrate it every time you use it. full vacuum, you're calibrating it as you're doing it, basically. There's nothing to test. You know, there's nothing to set up. It's just, you just use it. Now that all that's out of the way, I've talked about the shifter, let's talk about the rest of the car. So, this is a 68 Mercedes 250 SE, S-Class car. It's a W108 chassis. Mercedes has chassis codes, W123, W116, 124, 126, and so on. It's a story I got. This is the history on it. This car was a taxi in Iran, and during the period over in Iran when things were getting really bad, whatever family was running the cab company, this must have just been the best car in their fleet, and they moved to North America and brought it with them. From there, it ended up in the hands of a collector in New Hampshire. Then, a restaurant owner local to me went and bought it and brought it here to Canada. And then he tried to get a bunch of different mechanics locally to try and fix it with the gas engine it had in it, and none of them could figure it out. So it would have had a mechanical fuel injection system on it, and just nobody could figure it out. So it then got sold to another guy who I got it from. He put the diesel engine in it, and he was basically just trying to get it running so his son could take it to prom. That's pretty much all the car was driven while he had it, and it really wasn't sorted out very well. I can't blame him. He just stuck it together. But the vacuum system wasn't hooked up right at all, and it would shift into fourth gear immediately, and it also wasn't getting full travel on the injection pump, so you're only getting like quarter power out of it. So that combined with going into fourth gear at 10 kilometers an hour, you can see that it would be completely gutless and really not even safe to drive. So I got it from him. I actually traded him a truck for this, and the truck needed a bunch of work. I'll put a picture up of hauling that with my Suburban. So we traded, and then I had this for probably about 6 months before I even decided to do anything with it. I was still debating, like, do I take the engine out and put the original one back in and try and fix that, or do I run it the way it is? Do I try and put an OM617 in it because they have more power and turbo? Anyway, I ended up just sticking with what it had for now and just getting it on the road, and I'm happy I did because it works really good. It's not fast, but it's quick, if you know what I mean. Like, it gets up to 60, 70, 80 pretty quick, like a normal car. It's not gutless like a 240D. Not the 240Ds are super gutless, but everybody knows they're slow. And it's because the 108's had a different rear gear, and it's actually geared really good. The problem is, with no overdrive, it's only 1-to-1. So when you get up like 100, 110 kilometers an hour, that's really all you've got. Like, you can hold it to the floor all day and it won't go a lot faster. And the engine's just screaming, but my commute is like, I never do more than 90 on my commute, so it's fine for me. Paint situation. This has a really bad clear coat on it. I'm actually going to be putting white bond clear coat from Vice Grip Garage on this thing. So you can watch for that. It'll probably be a later video. I've got an Amazon speedometer because I still need the adapter piece for the speedometer drive for the transmission, so I can hook up the original speedometer. This is my radio. This has a Becker Grand Prix in it. It's European, and they're really good radios apparently, but this one doesn't work. So I just have a Bluetooth speaker. You got to do whatever you can do to keep this old stuff going. The first time I drove this car, as dangerous and slow as it was, this drives so nice. I don't know what Mercedes did when they figured out the suspension on these things, but like, it's like driving in a Cadillac, but you're not in a Cadillac. Like, Adam's behind the camera right now, and I'll link his channel in the comments or something, but what do you think of this? What do you think it drives like?
Oh, it's a boat. It floats.
It's weird. It's not a big land yacht, but it just glides.
It feels like a big land yacht.
It does.
But it's light.
But it handles like a little car.
Yeah.
It's strange. Like, it's still got tight handling. You can throw it all over the road. It doesn't move. It's on rails. But it just glides over bumps. You don't really feel anything. We'll do a walk around of the car. I'll show you the outside, and I'll show you Alright guys, we're back in the garage, and I figured I'd start under the car since there's really only one thing to show. So this right here is the vacuum modulator. That's the part that I have the syringe hooked up to directly. So that has a little piston inside that moves in and out when you pull on or push on the syringe. And that's basically just how it works. That shifts the transmission. So this is the car. This is a European W108. The North American ones had two small round headlights. These have a great big one. Like I said, it was a taxi in Iran. Got imported to Canada. You can see the clear coat here. It just peels off. So what I'm going to do about that is get some Vice Grip Garage clear coat. And it's a wipe-on product, so you don't have to spray it. You literally just mix the stuff, you put it on a rag, and you wipe it on. So I'm going to get some of that and do the whole car from this trim line up is my plan. Really neat looking cars. You got little small taillights in them. So here we are under the hood. So this is an OM616 4-cylinder Mercedes diesel. This would be from a 70s Mercedes. There's the VCV valve that failed. So this is not an MW pump like the North American engines. For some reason this has a European M pump on it. That's your vacuum shutoff there. That's what shuts off the engine. That's the VCV valve. That great big thing on the side of the pump. That's what failed. Now you can get the North American ones a little easier, but I can't find a new one of those anywhere. I've looked everywhere I can think of and there's nothing. So for now, it's sticking with the syringe, and honestly, when that worked, even when that worked, the syringe seems better than that, because I can actually select which gear I want when I want it. I'm not relying on that to do it for me. So I like it the way it's set up now. Especially with this car being diesel now. It's not underpowered, but it doesn't have the power that it should. So being able to pick what gear you're in makes a big difference. So this here, this crude looking thing, this is my homemade linkage. So the cable hooks up down here. When I got this car, it had a bicycle brake cable, I believe is what it was. And it would slip and move and everything. So this is actually a low car cable. This would be more of a part for hot rods. But it worked perfect for this. And this linkage, the thing is, when you're moving the throttle, if you look here, this is where it was hooked up to before. The cable hooked directly through here. See how that moves out towards the fender? So what would happen is the cable would pull, it would get to about there, and then it wouldn't want to move any further because the cable wasn't pulling that way, it was only pulling this direction. So I made this linkage so that as you're pulling the throttle now, it pulls this arm, which is bolted to this arm, so it wants to pull in that direction now. So you pull the throttle, and it actually opens all the way it's supposed to. From factory, this wouldn't have had cables, this engine, it would have had rods, so a little bit of a cobble up, but it works good. This is the glow plug harness that I made. I had to build a new battery tray over there. That filter situation, the stock round filter tray, won't fit because of the battery, and I can't put the battery anywhere else. It's the only spot it would fit. So that is just an air box out of a Volkswagen with some scat hose. I think I'm going to find something better than that. But for now it works. It's what I had. It was just laying around, so that's what it got. But I'd like to figure out something better for that. Some kind of a universal air plenum or something, I don't know. Because it works, but it just barely fits in there, and it looks really bad. Anyway, what can you do? So yeah, that's the under hood. I mean, that's really about it, guys. That's pretty much the whole car said and done. It's a really neat old car. It's different. You don't see a lot of them around here. I know they're popular overseas, but I'm sure I've got the only one of these that's actually on the road in New Brunswick. I've never seen another one. So, yeah. And you wouldn't see another one with the Euro headlights over here anyway. Really oddball. If you have any questions about the car, leave them in the comments. I'll do my best to answer. But that's going to do it for this episode. So, thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you on the next one.